How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to the SkillCapped mid-patch update tier list for 11.7. Yorick mains can finally rejoice as their champion is back in a really great state now. The AD carry meta is log-jammed with a ton of great options after many of the top gunners have been nerfed. As always, our tier lists are pieced together by the help of our challenger players, along with using the most up-to-date stats so you guys can get the best read on the meta. And just before we get started, we're interested to know who you guys think is the weakest champion in the game for 11.7. The fact that I haven't seen a Tahm Kench in one of my games for over a few months now just goes to show how weak of a champ he is. Pro play nerfs has really torn down the River King for solo queue, and he's just so underwhelming compared to everyone else. So Tahm would be my pick, but let us know if there's someone you believe to be even weaker down in the comments below. While you're down there, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already to stay up to date with all of our future tier lists. With all that said, let's get into it. Lifted from the grave and making his way from B all the way up into OP tier for our mid-patch update is none other than Yorick. Great quality of life buffs to Yorick's E are the ignition to his rise. Marked enemy champions now immediately awaken nearby graves. Mist walkers now deal 200% damage when they leap to an opponent. And the third change causes Yorick E to cast at max range if the ability has been targeted outside of max range. Everything just fell into place so nicely for Yorick, as he not only received those direct buffs, but his main core item in Trinity Force was also buffed on the exact same patch. As if Yorick needed a boost to his split push power, the Trinity Force buffs will just allow him to mow down towers before the enemy can even blink. For low elo in 11.7, Yorick is a god tier must-play champion if you're looking for some free elo. High elo, he still falls off as usual, but for the average rank, Yorick is now an OP pick of this patch. So if you guys are unaware, Riot tried to sneak one on us this patch as the price of Stridebreaker has been increased by 100 gold. Technically though, in previous patches the item cost 3,200 gold when it was intended to cost 3,300, so it's more of a bug fix change. Nonetheless, this still hurts a lot of bruiser top laners, and especially someone like Gnar. Gnar received a direct nerf last patch, and with this nerf to Stridebreaker in 11.7, we will be forced to drop him down into A tier. Darius, being another Stridebreaker user, has seen a bit of a decline for this patch. It's about time though, as Darius has been dominating the meta for many months now. With Yorick moving up and other top laners like Wukong and Urgot rising above, we will be shifting Darius down into S tier. Same thing goes for Garen. Across low elo, there have been very few better options than Garen throughout all of Season 11. Garen will still remain a really good S tier pickup, but we will need to adjust him out of OP due to the Stridebreaker nerf. With all those adjustments out of the way, here's how our complete top lane tier list is shaping out. We have Yorick, Wukong, Urgot, and Riven as the 4 OP picks of the patch. Wukong is just so great right now, and with one of his better matchups in Darius becoming weaker, everything's trending up for the Monkey King. Unfortunately, the Trinity Force buffs were not significant enough to push picks like Jax or Aurelia up the tier list, so they'll remain in A and B tier respectively for 11.7. And remember, if you want to improve fast and get the rank you've always wanted, then check out our hyper improvement system at SkillCapped.com. We have professional courses by the top players, Smurf commentaries where a challenger player walks you through how to climb out of every rank from iron to diamond, and we upload a ton of new exclusive guides to our website every week. In fact, we're so confident you'll improve using our system that if you don't climb at least 5 divisions while actively using SkillCapped, you can claim a full refund, so there's not even any risk. So what are you waiting for? Check out SkillCapped.com and get the rank you've always wanted. Link in the description below. The only change we'll be making to the jungle tier list is moving Nocturne down from S back into A. As a Stridebreaker user, he's feeling the effects of the bug fix nerf, so we're adjusting him accordingly. Our jungle tier list looks pretty much identical to where we had it in our pre-patch update. Shaco, Kha'Zix, Elise, and Hecarim are your OP picks for 11.7. Exactly as predicted, even with the direct nerf to Hecarim E combined with the Chem Tank nerf, he's still a godlike pickup. Riot's plan here is likely to whittle away at Hecarim for multiple patches in a row until he drops out of OP. I guess they don't want to hit him with one massive nerf and completely remove Hecarim from the meta, but honestly, I feel most people wouldn't even mind at this point. Ivern is still quietly dominating in 11.7 even after the nerf to his E, so he remains a very undervalued S tier champ. We also saw Udyr nerfed, but just like Ivern and Hecarim, they were not enough to push him down the tier list. With one more direct nerf or another change to Chem Tank in the coming patches, Udyr will surely break down into A, so continue to abuse him while you can. Amumu is actually back in a solid spot now after his buff, and even more insane for the lower elos. High elo, he's still not the greatest at around a B tier pick, but for gold and below, Amumu is an S tier champion. We found Amumu's placement on the tier list by averaging those two out and dropping him in A tier. Mid lane is the least busy role for 11.7 as we won't be making any changes for the mid-patch update. Yasuo has really been liking his AD per level buff this patch and is now a great S tier pickup. Yasuo really wasn't in a terrible spot in previous patches either, so for Riot to buff him in the first place was rather surprising. As for Lissandra, the Q buff she received has given her that much needed lift, and as we predicted, she's starting to break back into the meta as one of the better A tier options. If you're in need of a counter to shut down highly contested picks like Katarina, Yasuo, Yone, and Zed, Lissandra is one of the more reliable champions you can play. So, looking at our full mid lane tier list, we've got Galio, Anivia, and Fizz as the OP picks. There's honestly many really great carry options in mid lane for 11.7, as we've just seen so many buffed in recent patches. Talon was buffed a while back, and he's great now. Sylas has been buffed repeatedly and is back in S tier. Ahri is in an amazing spot for once with the Everfrost into Cosmic Drive build. The only champions really struggling at the moment are certain mages like Orianna, Syndra, Ziggs, and Ryze. With the exception of Anivia, the majority of mages are having a difficult time dealing with the assassin and fighter meta, combined with the fact that mage items are comparatively weaker right now. Moving on to ADC, we'll be making quite a few adjustments for mid-patch. After 6 different buffs throughout the beginning of Season 11, it's about time Varus is actually back in a really good spot. Varus received a buff to his AD per level for 11.7, which gave him the final push he needed. Lethality Varus is the way to play him right now, along with the new Hail of Blade setup being abused by Korean pros. Varus will be slotting into A tier as a pick we would definitely recommend adding to your champion pool, especially if you're getting bored of the same meta picks. Another adjustment we'll be making is moving Lucian down to C tier. Lucian was already struggling to find a place in the meta in 11.6, and with Essence Reaver nerf this patch, it's indirectly made him even weaker. We were on the fence about Tristana in our pre-patch tier list update, but have made the decision to push her down to S. Base AD nerfs are always more impactful than you'd think, as they affect the champion in all aspects of the game. Trist will still remain a top tier pickup, but her time in the OP tier was short-lived. We already moved Kai'Sa down from OP into S during our pre-patch update, and that's where she settled into pretty nicely. Kai'Sa still remains the most played ADC for the patch, however, there are definitely other picks you can prioritize now that offer you just as much carry strength. The buffs to Ashe this patch have turned her into a great pick that everyone is sleeping on. Ashe Ultimate was reduced by 10 seconds at rank 2 and 20 seconds at rank 3, offering her more frequent opportunities to find picks in the mid to late game. With many other champs nerfed recently, along with Essence Reaver dropping in power, we wouldn't be surprised to see Ashe break back into the meta in a big way real soon. Alright, so the complete ADC tier list is looking a little different now. The standalone best carry of the patch is Jinx. With Tristana and Kai'Sa both nerfed, and because we feel Jinx is just a cut above Samira and Vayne as well, she'll be the #1 option for 11.7. Take note that the S tier is jam-packed with so many champions now, as Riot has honestly done a pretty good job at balancing most picks to a very similar power level. Xayah mains will have to wait a little bit longer to break back into the spotlight, as the Essence Reaver nerfs have made her even worse for 11.7. Xayah, along with Aphelios and Lucian, are the 3 picks we would highly recommend staying away from if your main goal is to climb the ladder. To round everything out, let's finish off by taking you through what the support meta is looking like. If you guys remember from our previous tier list, we noted that Senna would need some sort of buff or new build to push her way back up the list after the Rageblade nerf. Well, that's exactly what's happened the past few patches, as the emergence of Frostfire Gauntlet has given Senna new life and is back in A tier for 11.7. If you're unaware, the full build to run is Frostfire into Rageblade and then Rapid Fire Cannon. Grasp is taken as the keystone to give you even more tankiness and stronger laning power. A champion picking up a crazy amount of traction in higher elo as of recent is Gragas Support, and we'll be bumping him up into A tier as a result. Gragas is a really good counter to Rell and Alistar and can also be flexed into multiple roles, which is why you see him in pro play at the moment. Gragas Support offers a bit of everything from strong peel power with explosive cask to great pick strength and engage with a flash E combo. If you want to shake things up and play a new aggressive support, then look the way of Gragas for 11.7. The nerf to Rell E has turned out much more negative than anticipated. The explanation for this is that even though her ECC was only reduced by 0.25 seconds, the spell initially only had a 0.75 second lock. Going down from 0.75 seconds to 0.5 is actually a pretty large percentage drop and cuts into Rell's ability to chain CC. We had originally moved Rell from S into A tier for our pre-patch update, but as the patch has progressed and as our analysts have gotten a better read on how the changes affected her, Rell will now be placed in B tier. So with those few adjustments covered, taking a look at our support tier list, we still have Lulu, Leona, and Thresh as the god tier OP picks. With these playmaking supports like Alistar and Rel nerfed this patch, Blitz and Nautilus both indirectly rise in priority. If you can play a good Bard right now, he's also in a great spot for 11.7. Bard's new ability Haystack build of Lucidity Boost with Locket into Cosmic Drive is giving him a lot of strength. We have Bard placed in S tier, however, he can definitely be an OP pick in the right hands. And remember, if you want to improve fast and get the rank you've always wanted, then check out SkillCapped.com, link in the description below. Otherwise, make sure to smash the like button and subscribe to stay up to date with all the great content we have planned. That's going to be it for this one, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, take it easy.